introduce Sister J.O.Y. Sister J.O.Y. is a sister of the St. Joseph's of Orange, and she lives in Orange County, California. She is part of the mission integration team with Providence St. Joseph Health at Mission Hospital and Mission Laguna Beach Hospital. She provides outreach services and partners with others to continue extending the healing ministry of Jesus. Previously, she was the Director of Community Relations for St. Joseph's Hospital in Orange. During this COVID pandemic, she has been collaborating with local faith communities and community-based organizations to advocate for communities of colors around health equity, social determinant of health, and mental health. We'll have a little bit of fun from Sister J.O.Y. You're not always expecting from a nun, a little bit of laughter and humor and so on. Welcome, Sister J.O.Y.
Thank you. Jundal will show the video.
Okay, Jundal, can you put the J.O.Y. video up, please? Let's see if he has come back. Go ahead and talk while we're waiting for the video.
Jill, the nurse, and I, we started doing these videos about 5 months ago when we were experiencing stress within and beyond our hospital walls. So this is one of the most stressful time for us nationally and globally for many of us. And we thought about doing something fun and silly to make our frontline caregivers laugh. So our friends and family started following us on our Facebook page, our personal page. But if you just type in The Nurse and the Nun, it will come up different videos of us that we are just being silly. And so I think it's important to do that. And while we're waiting, maybe they can do it at the end so that we don't have to wait. But every week since the beginning of this pandemic, I go around the hospital and bless our caregivers and our frontline providers. And so this is one of a taste of what I do almost every week to bless our caregivers. And I ask our sisters to write the blessing, and then I go around and bless them. So this is our blessing to all of you that are attending this conference. Loving God, help our frontline caregivers and providers in their daily challenges. Clothe them with compassion, patience, and strength. Ease their burdens and provide them with time for rest and renewal of body, mind, and spirit. May they be blessed today and every day. We ask this in your name. Amen. I invite you to reflect back when you first thought about going into your profession, or those who are like me, many professions. I invite you to reflect back on that deep inner joy that day when you completed the journey and felt ready to go out and set the world on fire with your zeal for the mission. You gave all of yourself, the best of yourself. You will be the most caring, generous, dedicated, committed, compassionate, excellent, spiritual, and etc. Doctors, nurses, professionals for your community. Beginning of this pandemic, I'm gonna share from my paper because I don't want to lose anything as I'm sharing with you. And so beginning of this pandemic, I talked to my religious community and housemates and asked for their permission to move out so that I can support our frontline caregivers and community during this crisis. Actually, I have the room that you're seeing me, I have been living here since March. And finally, next Monday, I'm able to move back to my house down in South County. So I've been away from the sisters this long. I received my religious sister blessings, and I moved out of my local community and moved onto the third floor of our mother house. The mother house right now is a backup place in case our caregivers needed a place to stay because they have loved ones that are immunocompromised, or they fear that they bring COVID home to their families. As a religious sister, I have taken the vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. I get teased about how I live my vows of poverty. These vows I have taken is given of myself generously, openly, and obediently. The joy is from God. Joy is grace. My heart is full and filled because God was using my gifts and talents to serve the people. God trusted me to bring God's presence to the people that needed his presence most. At a time when the majority of people in my religious community was on lockdown, God was using me to bring out the best of me to serve the people. God entrusted me to do all these wonderful works because I kept myself open and trust God in the obedience of this mission. So my vowed life frees me to become what God wants me to do for the people. So as I was invited to speak with you, I prayed and I asked God, like, God, what is our story to share with the world during this pandemic? And I want you to think about this during this journey. What is God's story for you to share with the world? So during this pandemic, I was busy collecting homemade masks, making face shields, working on programs, delivering dry groceries to the seniors. And I received a phone call from our healthcare agency in Orange County. And they asked if I can help a group of religious sisters that run an assisted living in the area. I asked, gosh, why would the county reach out to me for this task? Why did they come to me and why me, of all the people? This is not routine for the county to reach out to a religious leader. So as a sister, I knew what was going on with religious community in the U.S. We have sisters that were that's in Italy that have passed away from COVID. There was a spread of COVID going on with religious community, and I have friends in different communities in the U.S. and their sisters passed away from COVID. And as you read the news, you will hear about religious and senior center. A lot of them have passed away. So it became a personal mission of mine to keep local sisters and our seniors safe and protected. There was a spread of COVID going on inside our assisted living facilities locally. So the healthcare agency told me that they needed personal protective equipment, PPE, and asked if I can start a PPE drive. Then I received a call that they needed a cook. Then another call that they needed someone to do laundry. And then another call that 9 of the 10 religious sisters that from that assisted living facility are COVID positive. The majority of the staff at the facility are COVID positive along with the residents. So between my role working at the hospital, being a community member, a religious sister, I put on every single hat that I could think of. For this nun, me right here, I have never begged in my life. And for the first time ever, I became a beggar for donations. I reach out to our local hospital, St. Joseph Hospital and Mission Hospital, and communities, anybody, if they can help me with the crisis that was going on in the assisted living and other facilities. Immediately, I received plenty of donations of gloves, masks, face shields, hand sanitizer, isolation gowns, and etc. I begged whoever wanted to listen to this nun. Next, I work with my blood sister, who is a local chef, and other local chefs in the community. I asked them to cook daily meals for our seniors, and each day the local chefs took turns cooking. Finally, I needed to secure funding to get a person to come and do laundry for the facility. We were able to secure $10,000 to so that our seniors had what they needed to feel safe and secure. God was using this opportunity to bring out the best in others and me during this crisis. It was the heaviness in my heart that I cried to God each day, and the prayers that were answered that amazes me with joy and gratitude. I was not sure if I could accomplish such an important task on my own, and it was evident that God was providing resources and connection to fulfill the needs at hand. It was God that connected me to the people from the county to do the work with them. It was the smiles and compliments from the seniors of eating the best meal yet while fearing for their lives. It was the community and many strangers that reach out to help the neediest in our community. Joy is from God. Joy is grace. Almost every day, I do a 45-minute walk around the Mother House grounds, and I take the time to embrace God's sacredness around our Mother House property. I take in all the beauty, especially when I see the sunrise in the morning and the sunset in the evening. I am closest with God, my love, who shows up in my morning and ends in the evening. I meditate in the morning to start the day right and end with the evening reflections. I have brought companions into my life that makes me laugh until my belly hurts, and that is okay to be silly during crisis. I have chosen this topic, serve with joy, right here. Hope you see it. J is for Jesus, O is for others, Y is yourself. Because I believe we need to know what is God's mission for each of us when we find purpose and joy in our service. When we truly know that God is inviting us on this journey together, we will do it with joy. Joy because God has chosen you out of the millions of people to do a particular task that no one other can do the same. God sees your gifts and talents, and when you know that you are a gift to those that you serve at home or in the community, then joy will show. When we are God's witness and know that we are chosen for this task, we will serve with joy. To end, a quick story of how a simple task can turn into a sacred encounter. I am often asked to pray or bless over someone. A few weeks ago, I went to see a gentleman. The first day I stopped by, but he was too tired and needed rest. I came back the next day and prayed with him, and then he said, "You just gave me a re-entry to my faith." That was my joy and purpose, because hearing this man experiencing something so powerful. The joy was seeing him finding joy and purpose. I pray that each of you know the depth of God's love for you, so that you yourself can serve with joy and bring joy to others that are in needs of God's healing presence and love. Thank you for having me here with you, and I hope you enjoyed this video.
Okay. So we're back.
We're back.
And we're in the car. Sometimes we have really good chats in the car. And one time we were talking about when we first met, and I am a Lutheran, and I was thinking when we first met, like, this is a cool, hip, young, fun
And that is
nurse.
true. I am a cool, no, I'm a nun, girl. I'm a nun.
Oh,
nurse.
not nut,
Okay,
not
go
nurse.
on.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then we were volunteering together, and she called and said, another nun is coming to pick up some of our supplies. I was like, okay. And the nun shows up, and she looks like this.
Yes.
Like a legit nun.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, sister doesn't look like that. So then I started to wonder, like, is she legit?
And my mom questioned the same thing. So then I had to show her this picture.
Photoshop?
That I'm a legit nun. Yeah.
I think we need to see the legit outfit someday.
To show my cross is
Okay.
as legit.
All right, we'll take
Okay.
the cross as legit. So how did it all happen? Like, you just woke up one day, you wanted to be a nun? What happened?
Well, I dated, I had boyfriends, and I broke their heart.
You broke hearts?
Yes.
Sister broke hearts.
They broke my heart as well.
Okay, so it was even, huh?
And so I went on the retreat, and that's where I felt a calling. That God
A calling. Like, what kind of calling? Like, your caller ID said Jesus is calling?
If you want to know, 1-800-Jesus. If you open your heart, you'll...
So you called 1-800-Jesus and basically just said, this is what I want to give my life to,
That connection
Jesus.
to God, yes.
Okay. Well, that's a good, I guess, a connection about nurses
Yes,
and nuns
yeah,
and everything is that I guess I might not call mine a calling, but we definitely have this need to, yours is a calling with love and Jesus, as mine is a calling for community health and caring for others.
Yes. Yeah, so during this COVID time, that's why I've been doing is responding to this love call of who's in our community that needs that love. And
right now we all kind of need it, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So we try to do that for one another, and we say that every video, but we want you guys to do it for one another. Or
so
the
what
people.
would you want people to learn from this message today?
Whatever your line of work is, find what that calling is for you. Is that helping others? Is that maybe you're a banker and it's just helping people with their money, or you're, I don't know.
As long as you find joy in what you do, it gives you peace and joy. Live that call, because whoever you serve, so find whoever it is that in your community that needs your joy, your love, your presence, your peace. Go with it.
Or your laughter.
Yes, and your laughter.
Goofiness.
So, yes.
We tend to kind of err on that side every day.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing too. So whatever your calling is.
And if you're lost, 1-800-Jesus.
Have we checked that number out? I hope we're not giving out a number that's not legit, because we're worried about you being a legit nun.
Yes. So we just want to come back and say hello and take good care of yourself.
Better together.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Sister Twee. That was just, you know, we like to have a little bit of humor, and we need to lift people up, especially in the afternoon after having their meal, their short meal. And we really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me here.